What does it mean to be a glutton for punishment? Is it just an unending pursuit of pain and struggle? Or is it something more? Maybe it's closer to seeing a challenge that few dare to face and taking it on. Whatever the phrase means, I think that this car can help answer that question. It's time to go bumper to bumper on this FD RX-7, the star of Netflix's current show Hyperdrive. One of my best buddies built it. It's aptly named The Wolf. This RX-7 is owned by our friend Aaron Parker. You might know him from High-Low or Frenemies. Two really great shows also on Donut. The story of this RX-7 begins 24 years ago when Aaron was but a wee little lad. It was a warm summer night in Santa Monica, California, and Aaron saw something that would change his life forever. He was in the car with his family, and in front of them was a car. A car Aaron had never seen before. It was sleek, low, and red. "What's that?" Aaron said. His sister replied, "It's a Mazda." The Mazda in question was the RX-7, but it would be a while until Aaron could get his hands on one. The third-gen RX-7 made its debut in 1992, rounding out Mazda's lineup as the company's flagship sports car. Because the way the rotary engine works is weird, a lot of mechanics and tuners don't really know how to work on it, meaning only a select few Mazda freaks can unlock the potential of the magic Dorito box. Little did Aaron know on that fateful night, so many years ago, that he would become one of those freaks. Fast forward a few years and Aaron is in college, like a smart boy. His parents were very proud. And he's driving a turbo Acura Integra GSR around the San Fernando Valley. As he went through an intersection, a driver cheated through the yellow light and slammed into Aaron's Integra. Thank God Aaron was okay, because he's our buddy. But the Integra was not. She was a totaled. But here's the silver lining. Aaron got a nice check from his insurance company, and it was way more than the Integra was worth. He never forgot that Mazda that he saw as a boy. He was gonna take that big old insurance check and build the race car that he had always dreamed of. He found this FD for sale and spent every cent of that insurance check on it. Sorry, Dad. After college, Aaron got a job teaching English and math, both sides of the brain. Smart dude. After class, he'd go home and teach himself the ins and outs of the FD and its rotary engine. Aaron was such a good mechanic that word started to get around that he knew the rotary magic. And soon enough, some very big names started hearing about him. Names like Mad Mike Wadette. Mad Mike's competition car at the time was a rotary-powered Miata. Not an easy car to drift, mind you. Mike called Aaron up and was like, "Hey mate, you want to do a tryout of sorts to see if you're any good fit for my team and a good mechanic overall?" And Aaron was like, "Yes!" So after Aaron's first event with Mike, he got a call the next day. And Mike was like, "Hey man, you did really good yesterday. You want to come work for me full time?" And Aaron said, "Yes!" And he quit teaching that week. Imagine that, 1 week you're showing kids the quadratic formula. Then all of a sudden, you're going to South Africa with the Red Bull team, working on rotary drift cars. If little Aaron could see big Aaron right now, he'd puke from excitement. And this got Aaron thinking, maybe my RX-7 could be a badass rotary drift car. So, how did we get here? Well, let's get to the part of the show where I talk about the car. This is a 1993 Mazda RX-7. It's the same age as my son Nolan and just as handsome. And as you can see, Aaron has made a few changes since he got it back in college. First, let's focus on the paint, or vinyl. Actually, it's both. In a word, Aaron's FD is striking. Look at it! It's magenta! And it's got lightning. You want a shirt that says lightning on it? Go to donutmedia.com. The base layer, this magenta, is paint And then you got some black matte layers, and then the Lightning has the same sort of properties as a safety vest. And they really, really look great. Those colors are draped over the RX-7's custom bodywork. The front bumper and fenders were fabricated by BN out of fiberglass, which improve performance by reducing weight and also make repairs easier. And Aaron's done a lot of repairs. Check out the Netflix show to see what I'm talking about. While BN made the parts for Aaron, he wanted to preserve the smooth lines Mazda had achieved on the RX-7. So when Aaron received the body panels, he customized them himself, removing vents and making the fiberglass look a little bit more factory. Those are his words, not mine. And this is Aaron, man. He had to teach himself how to work with fiberglass, and the result looks amazing. He's a perfectionist and a curious dude. How about we go look at the engine? All right, calm down. The FD was equipped with something called a Wankel rotary engine. Most of you know that. If you don't, it's okay. They're weird. They are intimidating. And guess what? Aaron kept the rotary in this car. That's right, ladies and gents. This is an RX-7 race car that is not 2J swapped or LS swapped. What that tells you is that Aaron is crazy. It takes immense patience to work on one of these things. Instead of relying on pistons traveling up and down and transferring that motion into a rotating crankshaft, a rotary engine uses triangular rotors that spin inside the crankcase and turn the E-shaft, which functions like a crankshaft. This car is powered by a single turbo, 2-rotor Mazda 13B. The stock 13B had 2 turbos, but this one has 1. In between the exhaust ports and back of the Snail is a custom exhaust manifold by Gliese Engineering. It was designed to let the air flow freely as it exits the engine, but then squeezes the exhaust gases back together as they lose their heat efficiency before entering the turbo. This big boy Borg-Warner EFR 8474 turbo excels in getting really high airflow through the engine. It's snuggled up inside a PTP turbo blanket that protects the rest of the engine bay from the massive amount of heat literally radiating from the turbo. It took Aaron 6 years to perfect this setup. You're probably thinking, what's all this gold stuff? It's gold. Aaron was inspired by the engine bays of supercars like the McLaren F1 and also NASA satellites. Gold foil reflects heat and keeps what it's covering cool. When you have a turbo that literally glows red during drift runs, that kind of protection is 1000% necessary. Even though this engine is totally built on the outside, the rotors and the E-shaft surprisingly are OEM Mazda parts. Normally, when we talk race engines, all the internals have been swapped out for more durable components. But Aaron says that OEM is just fine, and I believe him because he's one of the smartest people I know. Now, this engine is capable of 650 horsepower, but Aaron is running it at about 520, dude. It's called overbuilding. Build your car so it makes power reliably, not right at the edge of destruction. That's smart. That's Aaron. I mentioned LS swaps earlier. Taking the rotary out and throwing a Chevy V8 in its place is a popular thing to do with these cars and most cars. Sure, these engines can be difficult and the window for failure is much wider compared to a piston engine. You have to do your homework. And if you do it right and suffer through the pain of breaking countless apex seals, you're rewarded with something no LS and honestly no other engine can provide. That brat 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 brat. This is one of the sickest sounding cars ever. Oh God. Oops. I should have taken the steering wheel off before I got into the car, but I'm not a smart man. Whoa, this is the first time I've been in here, dude. So the interior is basically a race car It forces you to focus on driving and not get distracted by anything else. There's some seriously dope parts in this build because Aaron only works with hardcore sponsor. There's an Evo R carbon dash, door cards by Bubble Tech, this OMP seat, OMP harnesses, and OMP racing wheels. Some drift specific touches include a hydraulic handbrake to lock up the rear wheels and an HGT sequential 5-speed transmission. How do I start it? Aaron's FD rides on Parts Shop Max suspension attached to a fully tubular front and back half chassis. Aaron worked with Parts Shop Max to dial in the FD suspension. His car was basically the guinea pig for their entire line for the FD. If you buy Parts Shop Max suspension for your FD, the parts you're gonna get are gonna be the same thing that were developed on this car. And it's also rolling on some dope N-key wheels wrapped in some delicious Falcon rubber. Yummy, yummy. Now, Aaron still works with Mad Mike, but has since started working for Falcon team driver Odie Bakchis, whose car we also covered on this show. If you've seen that episode, you know that Odie is methodical, which made Aaron a great fit for the team. They're both super nerdy, and that brings us back to why Aaron isn't competing in Pro 2. Hi! During his time working for Mike and Odie, Aaron has seen a lot of guys enter the arena only to blow a bunch of cash and break a bunch of parts and come out with less than they started. And Aaron has been watching from afar like a phantom, learning, absorbing, thinking, processing. Hell, maybe the wolf never sees Pro 2. Maybe Aaron goes pro out of the gate with another rotary car and crushes it. Maybe Aaron becomes a Hollywood stuntman or an actor or whatever. You guys saw him earlier. He's one of the handsomest guys I've ever seen. Either way, I want to see Aaron drift. So if anyone wants to sponsor him, that would be sick, because my dude freaking shreds. And he can talk to a camera really well. Interested in finding your dream car like my boy Aaron did? Well, luckily for you, there's one quick and easy website to help you in your search, Autotempest.com. They bring together all the listings from the major car search sites and then combine them into a simple list. That way, it's easy to compare results and narrow down what you want without the hassle of browsing all those sites individually. Car boys like myself know how to spend a lot of time searching for that next fixer-upper or everyday driver. Auto Tempest gives me back some of that time to do other things, like tanning or sidewalk chalking, which is really my true passion. Go to Autotempest.com today and try it for free. And it is actually free, not like join for free, pay a week later. It's actually free right from the jump. So go check them out and let us know if we helped you find a car. Tag us at Donut, and also let's do a hashtag like hashtag Donut Find. Let's do it. First off, guys, I got some stuff on my shirt. I don't have another shirt with me, and I gotta shoot the show. Please try and ignore it for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you. Well, if we have to, we can use it. It's hot as shit, dude.